Please, those lessons that you have missed, everything, please check back your Google Classroom, alright? The lessons are all pre-recorded, most of them are. Sometimes there is issue with the recording, technical difficulties, but if not, most of them are uploaded. Please go back and review it, especially over the Hari Raya holidays, alright? Okay, so now let us get back. Actually, this subtopic 5.2 is exactly the same as your 5.1. Okay, just that you need to combine the two fractions together. Okay, you need to combine the two fractions together. Remember, when you multiply two fractions, you just need to follow the rule that the denominator will stick with the denominator, the numerator will stick to the numerator. Okay, so let us look at example number 1. How are we going to do this question? This question is very simple because it is going to be 5a over ab. Okay, we can just combine it first. Just combine it. Multiplication means the top will stick with the top, the bottom sticks to the bottom. In this case, 5a is the same as 5a over 1. Do we have the paper? Okay, it's the same as 5a over 1. Now, once you get it inside here, it is exactly the same as your previous topic. All you have to do is cancel the common factors. So I have a here, I have a here. So I'm just going to be left with 5 over b. A relatively simple topic. The only thing that I need you guys to do is to do multiplication. Alright, let's go through one more. Let's look at part b over here. Part b, the first thing I do, I convert it into a fraction. Then I follow the rule, the top will stick with the top. So the top is 6c squared. The bottom is just 1 times 3cd. Alright, so I'll just get 3cd over here. Once I get here, I can break it down. If you are not so comfortable with squares, it's okay. You can break it down into your 6. You can break it down into 3 times 2. C is just C times C. 3CD. Right? What I'm doing here is I'm just breaking down the numbers into the individual factors. Why? Because at the end of the day, when I want to simplify, I want to cancel the common factors. Okay, I want to cancel the common factors. Alright, so here I can see that I have a 3, I have a 3. So I can cancel this 3 away. I have a C here, I have a C here. So my final answer is just 2C over D. Alright, so this gives me my final answer. Relatively simple things, okay, but you just have to follow the rules. Now, I will teach you another way, okay, and this one, do listen up. I'll teach you another way how we can simplify the numbers without factorizing. Okay, means we don't need to break it down into the different factors. Another shortcut method is simply you can enter 6 divided by 3 into your calculator. Immediately you enter 6 divided by 3 in your calculator, you don't have to actually break down the numbers anymore. It will straight away give you 2. Your calculator will always give you the simplest answer. Okay, so we're going to practice the calculator method. Okay, we're going to practice the calculator method here. Okay, so how do I use the calculator method? This one, please listen carefully. I will first put all the numbers together side by side. Okay, my first thing, I put the numbers side by side. 2 times 5 divided by 3 times 3. I put all the numbers together. Can you see here? The first step, put all the numbers together. Second step, you put the alphabets or the algebraic symbols beside each other. So I have a AB, I have a B times A over here. Alright? So I put all the numbers together, I put all the algebraic symbols together. Next thing, to simplify the numbers, I simply take out my calculator, I enter in this thing. So I enter in 2 times 5, 2 times 5 gives me 10. 10 divided by 3 times 3. So 10 divided by 3 times 3. I will get, what do I get? I show you on my calculator. So if I do that, I will get 10 over 9. Do you see that? Alright? If you do this, you'll get 10 over 9. I show you step by step again. I'm trying to enter this thing in my calculator. 2 times 5 divided by 3 times 3. So if I have my calculator, I do again. I must put the brackets. 2 times 5 divided by 3 times 3. Right? And if I press enter, I realize that my calculator gives me this. I can easily change it. I press shift. I change it to this form. 10 over 9. Okay, I change it to 10 over 9. Alright? So, what this tells me is that this red color portion will simplify to 10 over 9. Okay, this red color portion will simplify to 10 over 9. Then how about here? Alright, how about here? I try to cancel. A, I cancel with A, B, I cancel with B, I'm left with nothing. My answer is just 10 over 9. Okay, you can just leave your answer like this. Okay, so you don't have to break it up into different factors anymore. You just need to use your calculator. Let's do another one. Let's look at part D. Okay, let's follow the same method. I have 8 times 7. Remember, I tackle all the numbers first. 8 times 7 divided by 2. Next, I put all the alphabets together. M square is M times M. At the bottom, I have a N times N times M times N. Okay? So I put all the numbers together first. Then I put all the alphabets together. This number, I just need to use my calculator. So use your calculator. 8 times 7 divided by 2. That gives me 28. Okay, so this one gives me 28 divided by 1. 28 is just 28 divided by 1. How about the algebraic symbols? I try to cancel things that are common. So I'm left with m over n squared. If I were to combine it into one single fraction, I get 28m over n squared. I pause here. Is anyone confused? Okay, so you can use your calculator to help you to do this type of question. Okay, you can use your calculator to help you to do this type of question. Just the numbers, use calculator to help you to simplify. The algebraic symbols, no choice, you just break it down and you cancel. You cancel the same thing at the top and at the bottom. Okay, let's move on. The numbers are slowly getting a little bit bigger, but don't worry because we have a plan. Okay, so numbers again, 4 times 10 divided by 5 times 3. Okay, so these are all my numbers. Algebraic symbols, p cubed is p times p times p times p cubed. So I write everything down. P times q times q times p. Alright, so how come I got so many p's here? Because I have a p cubed. P cubed means I have a p 3 times. So I write everything down and then I start to, the blue color one, use my calculator. 4 times 10 divided by 5 times 3. Okay? If you get this in your calculator, don't panic. Just press the shift button, press this. Okay, this is the proper to improper. It will convert to this fraction for you. 8 over 3. Alright, so once you get here, you know that this one is just 8 over 3. Let's cancel out the common. I see a p here, I see a p here, I see a q here, I see a q here. What is left behind? 3 p's. So I know that it is p cubed over qp. Wait, I can still cancel some more. I forgot about one more. Okay, I can see that I can, one p here, I can cancel this. So my final answer is p squared over q. Alright? So my answer, 8p squared over 3q. You combine it together, you stick the two numbers together. Multiply means you multiply them together. It's akin to just sticking it together. together. Okay? Okay, the last question here. This question looks the most scary, but don't worry, like I said, we have a plan. The numbers, put all the numbers to one side. Can you try this question by yourself? Put all the numbers to one side. And then you break down the individual alphabets. Okay, you break down the different individual algebraic symbols. And then you start cancelling away. Okay, so step one, put all the numbers together. Use your calculator to simplify. Okay, use your calculator to simplify. Step 2, your algebraic symbols you cancel. The things that is the same in the top, you cancel with the bottom until nothing is left behind. Okay, I'll give you guys about 1 minute. This one should be quite fast. About 1 minute to quickly solve this. Okay, are you guys done? Okay, another 15 more seconds before I go through the answer. Okay, now let's do this question together. So like I said, put all the numbers together. I have 8 times 21 divided by 3 times 16. Okay, so I put all the numbers together. Next, I split it. X cubed, Y cubed, Y squared divided by X, Y to the power of 4, X and Y. Okay, so the blue one, just enter in the calculator, 8 times 21 divided by 3 times 16. Okay, convert it to an improper fraction. You should get 7 over 2. Right, so this one is 7 over 2. How about the x's? 1x here, 1y here, another y here, and another y here, and one more y over here. Okay, and then you have an x here as well. Alright, so what is your final answer? After you cancel everything, you are left with x. That's all. Okay, so make sure you stick them together. 7x over 2. That is your simplified fraction. Okay, this is your fraction in the most simplified form. Is that okay? Okay, so if this question comes out in the exam, I need you to be able to know how to simplify this one. Okay, numbers, just put them all together. The factors, you cancel them. The same factors, you cancel them. Alright? Okay, let's move on to the next part, which is the hardest part. Now, what is the difference between this type of question and the one before? I need you to familiarize yourself. Can you see that in this example there is no plus? Everything here is multiplied. There is no plus or there is no minus over here. Everything is all multiplied. So if in this question you have a plus, I see a plus here, I see a plus here, we cannot do the same method as we did before. Okay? Why? Because this is not multiplication. This is, you must treat this as one whole factor. Alright? So how are we going to do this question? In order for me to do this question first, I need to look at this plus and I ask myself, can I factorize any common terms out of these two first? Am I able to factorize any common terms out of here? You can see that there is a 3 here, there is a 3 here. Can you see that? So factorizing factorization means I pull out the common terms. So let us do that. I pull out the common terms. This is a 3. If I pull out a 3, I'll be left behind with A plus. If I pull a 3 from this 3B, can you see I'm left with just a B? You see that? Okay? Then I have a divide by 2A. And I'm going to multiply by this thing on the other side. Same thing. I'm going to leave the 20B alone. So I don't care about the 20B. I'm just going to put it there. The bottom, 5A and 5B, these two that has a plus. Can you see what is common among these two? 5. So I can pull out the 5. If I pull out the 5, I'm going to be left with A plus what? Plus B. Okay, so I see that. That is the first thing I see. Alright? The next thing, can you see that I have an A plus B on top and an A plus B at the bottom? You see that? So if I have the same thing on the top and same thing at the bottom, what can I do? Cancel it away. Okay? So the first step, cancel this away. If I cancel this away, what is left behind? 3 times 20B over 2 times A times 5. Do you see that this becomes the same problem as your earlier one? This becomes exactly the same as your earlier one, right? The numbers, you just put to one side. 2 times 5. The alphabets, you put to another side. So just use your calculator. 3 times 20 divide by 2 times 10. Okay, so you're going to get 3 over 1, B over A. So your final answer is 3B over A. So this one, there is just one step before that only. If you see a plus, factorize out the common terms first. Okay, I say again. If you see a plus, it means plus or minus. It means that you have to factorize first. Okay, factorize first, cancel the common terms, okay, or the common factors. Then you can do the method that we did earlier. So if you see a plus, factorize first. Yes. Answer is 6. Then enter only 3 times 20 divided by 2 times 5. Yes, answer is 6. My apologies. Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is 6B. Okay, this one is 6. Okay? Alright, can we look at the next one? Do you see a plus and minus? Do you see a plus and minus in this question? So what is the first thing you need to do first? Factorize. Right? You look at this thing and you look what is common here. What can you pull out? What number can you pull out? 2. Right? Some of you can see that you get a 2. Okay, so the 8, if I pull out a 2, what am I going to be left with? When you pull out a 2, it is the same as dividing this number by 2. If you divide 8 by 2, what is left behind? 4m. Okay, 4m. Minus, what is 2? If you pull out the 2, what is left behind? n. Right? So it's just left with n over 6n. Let's do the other side. Okay, let's do the other side. I have 3m divided by, is there anything I can pull out? Nothing, right? Because this is already in the simplest form over here already. But, can you see that this and this is the same? Do you see that? This and this is exactly the same. So if they are exactly the same, we can cancel. So what is left behind is just 3, I put all the numbers together, 3 times 2 over 6, m over n. My final answer, just enter this in the calculator. 3 times 2 is 6, 6 over 6, so my answer is just m over n, no, not 6. 3 times 2 is 6, but 6 divided by 6 is 1. Use your calculator if you are not sure. Alright, use your calculator if you are not sure. Alright? Okay. Let us look at the next question here. Okay, let's look at the next question here. I see 2, this has a plus. Can I factorize anything out from here? Maybe not, because this is a 2, this is a 5, there's nothing common. But here, this one, can I factorize anything out? Let's take a look. Okay, so I know that this 2p plus 5q, I cannot factorize out. So I'm going to get 3. This 10 and 25, I know that common thing is 5. If I pull out a 5, that means pulling out a 5 is the same as dividing by 5. If I divide 10 by 5, what do I get? 2. So I'm going to get 2p. If I divide 25 by 5, what do I get? 5q. Alright? So I get this thing. Do you see that there's something common? This and this is the same. Just that this thing has a 2 on top. That means this thing squared. What does it mean when I have a number that is squared? It means that I have this number multiplied by itself. In other words, this is the same as writing 2p plus 5q multiplied by 2p plus 5q. Can you guys see that? Divided by 1. And I have 3 over 5, 2p plus 5q. So, if I realize that I have the same thing at the top and at the bottom, what I can do is I can cancel the common terms. So I can see this is the same, I cancel. Okay? The numbers wise, I can just combine them. So I'm going to get 3, 2p plus 5q divided by 5. Okay? And of course for this one, if you want to finish it off, you can just multiply back here. So how do you multiply? Let's do this together. 3 times 2 gives me 6p. 3 times 5 gives me 15q divided by 5. That's all. This is your final answer. Alright? So remember, the steps is always the same. If you have a plus, ask yourself, can you factorize it? If you can factorize, then pull out the common terms. If you cannot factorize, leave it. Because not all of them needs to be factorized. Okay? So if you can factorize, do factorize it. Okay, the last question over here, part D. Let's take a look at this question here. I have a few, in fact this one I have many plus and minus over here. Okay, I have many plus and minus over here. So I'm going to think about whether I can factorize them. This first one, is there anything common I can factorize? Anything not between 4 and 3? Any way I can factorize? No, because 3 is a prime number. I cannot break it down. So I cannot factorize means I'm not going to change anything. Let's look at the denominator here. 2 and 12. Is there anything that I can possibly factorize? 2, good. If I factorize out 2, what am I going to left with? X plus 6y, correct? Because again, when I factorize 2, it means that I divide this by 2. So what is left is just x plus 6y. Okay, so I get x plus 6y. Let us look at the one on top. Okay, now let us look at the one on top. How about 7x plus 14y? What is a number that I can factorize out? 7. Okay, so if I factorize out 7, what is going to be left behind? X plus 2y. Okay, good. How about the denominator here? Is there anything that is common between these two numbers? 5. If I factorize out of 5, what should I be left with? 4x minus 3y. Awesome. Okay, now it's time to cancel. As long as we see that there is the same thing at the top and the same thing at the bottom, we cancel. Alright, so let us spot the difference. Okay, so if you look here, you see that there's a 4x minus 3, 4x minus 3. You have x plus. Okay, so here is a bit different. Don't be tricked by this one. So this one is x plus 6y, this is x plus 2y. So can you cancel? No, so you don't cancel for this one. So your final answer, put all the numbers together, 7 divided by 2 times 5. Okay, so here I put all my numbers together, 7, 2 times 5, and I'm going to rearrange x plus 2y over x plus 6y. Okay, so use your calculator. What is 7 divided by 2 times 10? We'll just give you, 7 divided by 2 times 5. That gives you 7 over 10. Okay, and the fraction you just leave behind because you cannot simplify them anymore. Okay, final step, just multiply back in. 7x plus 14y divided by 10x plus 60y. Okay, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, so this is your final answer in the most simplified form. Okay, so the steps is the same. If you can factorize, then please factorize. If you cannot, then just leave it as it is. Okay, this question 3, can you practice by yourself? Okay, can you do these 4 questions by yourself? This one is the same as your question 1. Okay, this one is the same as your question 1. Numbers, put it together. Alphabets, you cancel it. Alright? Numbers, you put it together. Alphabets, you cancel. Can you just do this question by yourself? I'll give you guys about 4 minutes. 1 minute for each question. I think it's doable. If you have a calculator, you should be able to do it very quickly. Okay, if you don't have a calculator, that is when you will struggle and it will take a bit longer. Question 3, all of you must get full marks. Put all the numbers to one side, all the alphabets you put to another side. Then you start to cancel. Why we can do that? Because there is no plus or minus here. We don't see any plus and minus. It's the same thing. No, just enter this whole thing. See what it is. Don't even have a calculator. Yes. As long as it's the same alphabet at the top, as long as it's the same. Side by side. Side by side is multiplied. When you have top and bottom is divided. Okay, really do try. Like I said, now until your WA is only 1.5 weeks. Okay, just 1.5 weeks. I really want to see you guys pass. Okay, at least for the first time for some of you who haven't passed. Your passing rate is very low, 65% only. Okay, I want to bump it up to at least 80%. Okay, before I leave here. I say again, those of you who get at least 60%, I give you a McDonald's meal. Anything, you want to upsize, is okay. Okay? But please do try your best for it. Be confident. Huh? Just do all done. Okay, 1.5 more minutes. 1.5 more minutes before I go through. Just do as many as you can in the next 1.5 minutes. Some of you, I know you are a little bit slower. You are stuck at the part B. It's okay. Some of you are just finishing up part A. If not, I'm going to go through this question together already. Please check your answer alongside with me, okay? See whether you got the correct answer. Alright, so for this question, the alphabets, I'm going to put them together. So I'm going to get 2 times 6 divided by 5 times 4. All the alphabets, I put them together. A squared is going to be A times A times B times B times C. AC is going to be A times C. I have an A cube over here, so it's going to be A times A times A. So I'm going to cancel out all of the common terms. Okay, so I have A times A. Let me change color. I have a A times A here. I cancel out the A times A. I have a C here. I have a C here. So what is left behind? This thing I can enter in my calculator. 2 times 6 divided by 5 times 4. So this gives me 3 over 5. My alphabets, B squared over A squared. Kenneth, can you check the answer? Do you get the same? Okay, so my final answer is just 3b squared over 5a squared. Okay, so this is how I do this question. Every single question in this question 3 is the same method. First step, put all the numbers together. 9 times 20 divided by 4 times 33. Put all the numbers side by side first. Break it down. The rest you break it down. X squared is just x multiplied by itself 2 times. Multiplied by y, multiplied by y, z, z. Over z, 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 z 5 times. And then you have a 2x and 2y's. Cancel x with the x with the x. Let me change color. Y with the y with the y, z with the z, z with the z. So what are you left with? Use your calculator for this one. 9 times 20 divided by 4 times 33. Okay, so you are going to get 15 over 11. This part on top, everything is cancelled, so you don't have anything. Z cubed. That's all. This is your final answer. Yes? There's 3 y's on top. No, why is there 3 y's? There is 1 y, there's another y only. There's only 2 y's. How come got 3 y's? Okay? So let's move on to the next one. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Put all the numbers together. 4 times 5 divided by 6. Okay, so I get 4 times 5 divided by 6. The alphabets, G cubed means I have G times G times G. K squared means I have K times K. Divided by H times K times K times K times K times G times H. So start cancelling. G and G will cancel. K and K will cancel. So what am I left with? This part, use your calculator. 4 times 5 divided by 6. Convert it to an improper. You should get 10 over 3. I have 2 G's. So I'll get G squared. Here, I'm left with H. How many H do I have? H squared multiplied by 2K. K squared. Okay, so this is my final answer. 10G squared over 3K squared. H squared, K squared. Okay? Those of you who are not done, can you look at the final one? Okay, look at the final one. All of you should be able to do this type of question. Huh? Okay, the final one over here. Let's do this. Numbers, put it all together. So I'm going to get 14 times 10 divided by 15 times 21. Alphabets, put it together. P times Q times P times R times R. The bottom, R times R. P cubed, P times P times P. Q square is Q times Q. This part, enter in your calculator. 14 times 10 divided by 15 times 21. That gives me 4 over 9. Okay, it simplifies for me. Next, I cancel P with a P, Q with a Q, P with another P, R with a R, R with another R. So what am I left with behind? The top has nothing, denominator only has PQ, that's all. Okay, so you do it step by step. There is no reason why you find this question difficult. It's just cancellation and using a calculator only. Okay, it's just cancellation and using a calculator, that's all. Okay, so all of you here should be able to do this question. Okay, let's look at the next question. This is the last page. Okay, this is the last page already. Now this one maybe is going to be a little bit more difficult. Okay, but just follow along. Remember I told you, when you see a plus and minus, that means you have to factorize first. Remember I told you, when you see a plus and minus, that means you have to factorize first. When you have three terms, how do you factorize? This one, you have to use your ladder method. You still remember? Okay, if you've forgotten, let's do it together. T square, I write it here. 6t, I put it over here. The one that don't have any alphabets, I put it in the middle. Okay, the one that don't have any alphabets, I put it in the middle. So how do I get t square? I need to put a t and a t over here. How do I get a 9? I can try 3 times 3. I cross multiply. You must put the cross. When I mark a lot of your homework, some of you never put the cross. Why is it important to put the cross? Because you need to multiply following the direction of the cross. T times 3 gives you 3t. Here gives you 3t as well. So how do you get minus? Both must be minus. Okay? So if both are minus, this side also minus. So you notice that this thing can be factorized as t minus 3, t minus 3. Okay? This part is this. Okay? And you know that this thing is multiplied by 4 over. How do we factorize this thing? This is t squared minus 9. How do we factorize t squared minus 9? This one you have to remember, this is of the form t squared minus 3 squared. Do you notice? 9 is a perfect square. I can change it into this form. Do you guys remember what is the factorization of a squared minus b squared? I've been asking you guys to memorize for so long. Okay, what is the factorization of a squared minus b squared? I write it down again. For those of you who've forgotten, please write it down somewhere. A squared minus b squared is a plus b, a minus b. So what do you think is the factorization of this? T plus 3, t minus 3. Absolutely correct. Okay, so this one, the answer is going to be t minus 3, t minus 3. Here is times 4. T plus 3, t minus 3. Okay, I factorize this to become this. Can you see that now, ladies and gentlemen? This is just this. Okay, once you factorize, what is the next step? Start with C. Cancelling. Good. So I can cancel the things that are the same. T minus 3. I cancel with t minus 3. So I'm just left with 4t minus 3 divided by t plus 3. Okay, this is what I'm left with. But of course, we can finish this up by multiplying it in 4t minus 12. Let me shift that in. Okay, so my final answer, I just multiply back in 4t minus 12 divided by t plus 3. Okay? So this is my final answer. This one requires you to use factorization. You realize chapter 4 is linked to chapter 5. So actually there isn't a lot of chapters for you to study. Okay, if you really study chapter 4, you realize chapter 4 and 5 is exactly the same. Is there a lot tested for your WA2? Actually not really. It's just factorization. Okay, and then simplification and simultaneous equation, that's all. Chapter 4 and 5 is the exact same thing. The only thing that is different is chapter 3, which is on on simultaneous equation, which is your homework question. Yes. Yes, they no. I think this one usually is just no word problem, just cancelling. Word problems are your simultaneous equation. Okay? Let's look at the next one. Whenever you see a plus and minus, you need to try to factorize. Is there any way we can factorize this? Is there any way we can factorize this thing? 5, right? So I can pull out a 5. Let's try to do that. I pull out a 5, what is left behind? X. X what? Minus 1, good. How do I factorize this next? X squared plus 2x minus 3. How do I factorize that? Yes, you can use your ladder method. Okay, so you have your x squared minus 3 in the middle plus 2x. X and x over here, 3, there's only one way, 3 times 1. Follow the arrows. 3x. Follow the arrows, x. Ask yourself the question, how do you get positive 2x? Plus 3 minus x, correct? So here must be a plus, here must be a minus. So here the signs must be plus and minus. Okay? So you know that this factorized to x plus 3, x minus 1. Okay, so this factorizes to this. Okay, so next, cancel the same thing at the top and bottom. Do you notice that I have a x minus 1 here? I also have a x minus 1 here. So same thing, I will cancel them away. Okay? Cancel, cancel. So my final answer, x divided by 5. Multiply back, 8x plus 24 over 5. That's my final answer. Okay, this is my final answer. I leave it as this. Okay, last 2 questions and then we are done for the day. Let's quickly get to it. This question over here. Let's look at here. Anything that we can factorize, anything that is common. Do you see anything that is common, whether it's a number or alphabet? Y, good. So I see y is common. If I pull out y, what is left behind? 3x minus 1, not 0. Okay? Okay, then how about this one? How about this thing here? 9x squared minus 1. I help you out. 9 is a perfect square, right? So 9 can be written as 3x, the whole thing squared, minus 1 can be written as 1 squared. Can you factorize the top? If you have forgotten, can you look here? How to factorize this? How? What is the answer to this? A squared minus b squared. What is the factorization of a squared minus b squared? In this one you have to memorize, okay?
A minus b.
I tell you, most of the times, a lot of you are just sitting there and hoping that you will get it. You have to memorize. You have to bring the effort and tell yourself, okay, a squared minus b squared is a plus b, a minus b. Okay, you have to tell yourself that. Because in the exam, this will be tested. And it's not going to be just tested for your Sec 2. Sec 3, it will be tested again. Sec 4, it will be tested again. Okay, and if you go to Poly, it will be tested again. These rules will be tested all the way until Poly University. Okay, so you cannot just, unless you say that, you know what, after secondary school, I'm going to drop out of school. Then I'll say, yes, probably don't need to use this anymore. But if you have plans to go on to Polytechnic, if you have plans to even go on to ITE and further education, then you you have to study this. You have to memorize this. Okay, it's like asking a 3-year-old and saying that, you know what, I do not want to learn how to read because it's too difficult. But the thing is, if you want to go to primary school or secondary school, you need to know how to read. Okay, some of you are behaving like, you know what, it's okay, there's no need to read. Right? Because I'm not interested. Okay, I'm just going to graduate from here and I'm just going to play a fool. Okay, Mr. Yo?
I see juniors and Benson. Benson is
okay, the rest of you, let's simplify this. So this one, what we're going to get? 2x over y, 3x minus 1. Here we're going to get 3x minus 1, 3x plus 1 over 4. Okay, so we're going to cancel the common terms. This and this are common. What is left behind? Numbers, I can just enter in the calculator. 2 divided by 4 gives me half. The rest, I can just write it down. 3x plus 1 over y. So my final answer, 3x plus 1 over 2y. I just multiply. Anything times 1 is just the number itself. Okay, so I get this final answer. Yes. What's that square? Yes, I missed out an x. There's an x over here that I left out. Okay, so actually here should be an x. Thank you very much. There's an x over here. So the final answer here, I need to multiply back in. 3x squared plus x. Can? Okay, the last and final question before we end the day. Okay, I'll help you out in the first one, but the rest you have to do by yourself already. X squared minus 25. This is the same as x squared minus 5 squared. 4x minus 1. There is no way you can factorize this any further, so you leave it. The top here, you can factorize a 2. So you get 4x minus 1. This denominator, can you factorize by yourself? Use the ladder method. Okay? The last one really, please try. Okay, the exam, you'll be tested on a very similar one to this. Okay, factorization of this thing. So please try. Okay, 2x. 2x, how do you get 2x squared? You need to multiply 2x times x. Okay, 2x times x. How do you get negative 5? 1 times 5. Always draw the cross. Okay, draw the cross. Follow the cross. 2x times 5 give me 10x. Follow the cross. 1 times x give me x. After that, you ask yourself the question, how do you get plus 9? Plus 9 means I get plus 10 minus x. That is the only way. So I'm going to get plus minus. So if this is a plus, here is also a plus. This is a minus. Okay? This is how you do the ladder method factorization. You must draw the cross. You must follow the cross. If you don't do that, your answer will be wrong. Okay, so here is 2x minus 1. Here is x plus 5. Now you just cancel the same thing. Okay? Here are x squared minus 5 squared. I straight away write in the factorized form. X plus 5, x minus 5. Okay? All of you should know this by now. Last step, cancel all the common terms. All the common factors you cancel. X plus 5 cancel x plus 5. 4x minus 1 cancel with 4x minus 1. So what is my final answer? My final answer is 2 times x minus 5 divided by 2x minus 1. Multiply back in 2x minus 10 divided by 2x minus 1. That is all. Can? Some of you says your homework question, you still never bring today. I give you until Thursday. Okay, I give you until Thursday. Please make sure you bring it. Alright? Those of you who done it later, pass to me. I got one more thing for you. I have a revision package for your WA2. Okay, I'm going to pass it to you. I'm going to go through this thing on Thursday. But it's more beneficial if you do it at home once. Okay, you go through the question, you see what you don't know, and you see what you know. Okay, it is a lot better. Huh? Okay, so I said I'm going to go through this WA Revision 1 on Thursday. Make sure you have it with you. Okay, make sure you have it with you. The next thing, I'm going to pass back your paper. Okay, I'll pass to one of your classmates to pass you back. Okay? Can you pass them, please? Okay, the homework, can you pass to the front, those of you who have it? Those of you who don't have it, then pass to me on Thursday. Hey, write your name, write your name. Definitely. Okay, then pass the homework to the front. Where? Those not here, you keep first. Hey, write your name. Okay, which one is your name? This is yours? This is yours? You never write your name. Okay, can you pass the homework to the front? Okay, the rest pass then. Okay, thank you class.
Thank you and goodbye.
Yes.
I can get to know this chapter very quickly. Sometimes a bit too fast.
Yes, no problem. Yes. Your what? Yes. Ends? It's not ends there.
But I can't stop.